mouth. Right,
95, live, honestly,
repeat what you just said. Repeat.
All right, okay. Basically, 95 minutes. I think I'll never get back in my life. That was absolutely dull, boring. There was nothing there, was it? I mean, I'm sure the lads won Brighton Beach this afternoon because let's be honest with you, what I seen on the pitch was pretty woeful, wasn't it? I mean, it's hard enough watching the club play, but having any sort of motivation to watch that game today there was none. I mean, it summed it up in my preview. I said this game had 0-0 or 1-1 written all over it, and yeah, it's finished 0-0. So I'm kind of not really shocked. I mean, you were just hoping Brighton were sort of going to do something, but you can tell why they were in trouble at the time. Awful. It's just
you almost, I don't know. I feel like it was a defeat. Mainly because
it does. We'll have one shot on target.
One shot.
And I'm sorry to say, right, Almiron flicked it on, and the keeper sort of milks it to think, you know what, I've had nothing to do with this game. I might just take a little dive and just see if I can do something with it. But it's just we're offered absolutely nothing in the game. ASM, I mean, these players are just playing as if well, they're ready for the holidays. They don't want to put any challenges in because they don't want to get injured. And I kind of feel like Bruce has sort of bottled the last 4 or 5 games since the Bournemouth victory. We've bottled it. Sorry to say, we have big time. And this is what I'm saying about this squad. People rant and rave about it, but unfortunately, we're a mid-table, mediocre football club until we're sorted out. We really are, mate. We're in big, big trouble. And if we don't rectify this squad in the summer and we don't get rid of some of the deadwood, then we are in big, big trouble. We're not learning anything. We don't learn any lessons. You know what I mean? It's going to be another 13th place finish. And it's only because some of the teams below us are worse. That's the only reason why we finished 13th. And he's sort of been bailed out by the fact he's changed his formation. And ASM and Almiron single-handedly have bailed him out. I mean, Dubravka, you could say, yeah, it says a lot about our defence. We'll get so praised about the defence, but is the defence really up to scratch when Dubravka has to make so many saves? Because we're getting carved open. Like I said, you know what I mean? Like now through butter. It's all fact stuff. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, mate. And just watching that there today, the only reason why we drew that game was because Brighton are worse than us. And that sums it up. We've drawn at St James's 0-0, and we've drawn tonight. What does that tell you? Table doesn't lie. We're not good enough.
Mate, you completely hit the nail on the head. The whole game was absolutely dull, boring. I think it's the one game that I've watched since lockdown that I haven't really watched. It's been on in the background. You know, that sort of thing. Right? It's been background music or background whatever. Just from start to finish, it was woeful. I was pissed off before the game, the fact that we didn't start any of our youngsters and used the opportunity.
I was about to say.
Do you know what I mean? 2 games to go. Might as well throw in Watts. I don't even know where to go. Start with Matty Longstaff.
I think he's unfortunately 40. I think he's gone. I think he's leaving. He's not got a future at this club. If he's not getting, sorry to say, but if he's fit and he's not getting starts, then there's either something mentally wrong with Bruce or somebody at the top's telling him not to play. I think Mike Ashley's telling him not to play. So he gets that move, he gets that 400,000, and Mike Ashley and Lee Charnley can have that as a little bonus for themselves and go and use that on the Bandits or whatever they want to do with it. But I'm sorry to say, that's peanuts, for a player that's going to be worth, let's say, about 25, 30 million quid in the next couple of years. I'm sorry to say, but whoever gets him, that is an absolute steal. Because for the love of life, how does Bentaleb still get games?
I'm baffled. I'm really baffled about it. I don't know how he keeps on starting. It's annoying to see him start ahead of Matty Longstaff, and it's disrespectful as well. I'm gonna bring Pete into it as well. I just don't know why he keeps starting ahead of him, and it's just baffling me.
What happened to Lazaro?
Huh? What's that?
What happened to Lazaro? Why is he not starting? Do you know what I mean? These are games where players need match fitness, and I was baffled why we didn't play Cal Watts. I really was baffled by it. Some of his decision making is just. If he's not careful, he's going to get judged so quickly next season. He'll be out.
Yeah.
Well, I hope he is. I hope he is out, to be honest.
Yeah, sorry, we're just chatting away, talking about that board draw, the fact that we're not seeing any of our youngsters blooded in. From me, I know from his face is brilliant, but I don't know where to go with this, bro. I really don't. At least you smiling.
What were you, man? What were you actually looking for? Because I went into the game with zero expectations, so I'm in a good mood. I told you yesterday, there's nothing to play for. I saw like 10 minutes of the game, and I was like, nah.
Well, it's just, you know what it is. Go on, Pete.
I was gonna say we talked about it on the preview. You know, the expectations are low at the moment. But to be honest, I've walked out of the room that I was watching the game in. I'm not frustrated. I'm not angry.
Was making me tea.
I'm not annoyed. I couldn't care less about that game. It was the worst game that I've seen since the first game of lockdown. Fumby's already laughing. Aston Villa, Sheffield United, that 0-0 draw. That was a horrific game. That was just as bad. And to be honest, I didn't expect anything less. I really didn't. Brighton were playing for the point. Newcastle were clearly playing for the point. The only positive to take out of it is Dubravka's got another clean sheet. You know, that's the only positive really to take out of that game. If we wanted to, we could have won that game. Carroll had a fantastic chance. I was so frustrated the second half because a ball got put through to ASM and he was ran through on the left-hand side and he was one-on-one. And for some strange reason, he tries to square a ball that wasn't even on. And I'm thinking, hold on, one-on-one, that's you. That's what you do. Take him on and try and put it in the net. And that just summed up that game for me because nobody was on it. Nobody was on it whatsoever. And it was very much an end of season dead rubber, or you could see it as a pre-season friendly where people were just trying to get minutes under the belt. It was just nothing really.
Why did we play ASM?
What are you saying, Fumby?
Like, why did we play ASM? Like, why? Like, try out the youth team if it's going to be a 0-0.
ASM was 75% fit, and you could tell after about 3 minutes, right? There was no intensity in his game. He was literally going through the motions. He had the odd little turn of pace where you saw a little bit of him, but then very, very quickly just went back into himself. He clearly wasn't fit. He's probably had an injection of some sort or had some work done on his calf. Because in the run-up to the game, I said it yesterday, he'd not been in any of the pitches training, so he clearly hadn't been training with the boys. So if he's not fit to play, don't play him. Because for all we know, he could have tore his calf and been out for 2 months by playing today. It was, it wasn't smart. You had Lazaro that, turning on the TV, he was saying, why is Lazaro not playing? The guy's on loan, albeit we'll probably get him on another loan. It seems like that's the likely scenario, but still, give him minutes.
Next season, we're going to be called Loan FC. We're going to have that many players on loan next season. Trust us. That's the way we're going at the minute. Loan FC.
Yeah. Well, well, it'll be free transfer FC probably.
Yeah, and that as well.
That seems like that's going to be our transfer strategy in our summer window.
I'm sorry to say the only reason we drew this game today was because Brighton were a lot worse and because they have no quality. That's it. That's the only reason. We just did not turn up. One shot, and I was saying to 40 before there when Almiron there flicked it. I mean, I'm sorry to say, but the keeper milked it. He absolutely milked that. He just sort of thought, I don't know what, I'll dive. I've had nothing to do all game. I just thought I'll do something. Do you know when you play someone amateur and you just let them go through like what you think, you know what? Instead of catching it, I'll just dive and just see what I could do, and it someone went for a corner. Anyway, but honestly, I said in my preview, this game has got 0-0 or 1-1 written all over it. Honestly, these games are nothing game. I don't even care about the Liverpool game. I'm not even bothered. They can hammer us 6, 7, 8-0. I am not bothered. I want to know what's going on for next season now. I'm not bothered.
Do you know the sad thing? I remember last season, towards the end of last season, Rafa's had us looking like mini Barcelona. I was so gassed about the possibility of next season if we can just keep the team, if we sign him, if we give him money. And I think we won the last game of the season 4-0, battered Fulham. And I'm thinking,
we'll be doing some. We'll be going to cash converters at the end of the season, man. Doing some loans,
Yeah. Now I'm looking at the end of the season like, oh man, is Bruce coming back?
Yeah. Well, that's the hope. The hope is that next Sunday is the last that we see of Steve Bruce. And I think his last 3 or 4 games have proved that he's not someone to take this club forward.
Nah.
He hasn't got a clue. He has not got a clue.
Nah.
Yeah, it was just a poor game, all round, awful game.
And you know what, Pete? You said it yesterday. Yeah? They've stuck it on Monday because everyone's outside. Everyone's like, fuck, hell no, I ain't watching that.
The one Brighton beat this afternoon.
Yeah, nobody cares. Nobody cares at all. Like, you know, it makes me laugh really, because even Sky, right? Sky before the game had ex-Newcastle manager Graham Souness and ex-Newcastle player Kieran Dyer, and all they had them talking about was Brighton. The whole build-up for the game. You got an ex-Newcastle manager and ex-Newcastle player, and all they're doing is talking about Brighton, because really and truly they wanted Brighton to win that game. They wanted. There's always a narrative to the media, and Sky in particular. You can, after 5 minutes, you know who they want to win. Even the commentators were bigging Brighton up, and the fact that it was a game. It was a tale of two halves. In the first half, Brighton had all the chances and all of the ball and dominated possession. In the second half, we had the better of that half. It was, so a draw is probably the right result, but actually, I think it was a surprise to Sky, because I thought they were under the impression that we were just going to roll over and let them wipe the floor with us, and that's the only positive really is that we didn't.
I don't expect much from Brighton, if I'm honest. I expect nothing. No, that's why I said no. It's Brighton, like they're nothing special. Do you know what I mean? Like, no, I think, what did they say? They've won 2 games out of 16. That just sums up how bad Brighton are. I know we're equally poor, but you can't expect much from this fixture.
Sky were, if you were watching Sky, they weren't talking like that before the game. They were bigging them up about the style of play and all the rest of it. And they were bigging them up like they were some super team sitting in the top 10. But that's Sky, and they talk a load of rubbish. But
honestly, you know what it is? 95 minutes, I'll never get back. I mean, I wish I could have just done something else. If I'd realised it was going to be this bad.
95!
Just, well, it's like 95 minutes of torture. Like, honestly, it was that bad.
For what?
Well, actually, to be fair, I was actually waiting in the stream. To be fair, like, I was like looking away from the TV, see if he was coming back in. But honestly, man, it was just next season. I do fear for next season. I'm not going to lie. I genuinely think that Leeds United will finish above us next season. I can promise you that.
Easy. Leeds are finishing above us.
Bielsa looks at their club. They've got a game plan. Like, we come up from the Championship, and like, what have we done? Nothing. Stagnated like we did before. Look at Leeds. They're going to come up. I'm not saying exactly that they're going to start doing bits, but you just suggest that they are, and we are going to lag so behind all these clubs. It's crazy. Like, the finish this season is going to be 13th, isn't it? Like, just like we did last season. I mean, that's it. Like, nothing to look forward to. Boring.
Hold on. Yeah, we've got one trophy to look forward to. We've got one trophy. Don't forget, it's the Bruce finished on more points than Rafa trophy. Remember that trophy?
Is that possible?
Exactly. He's bottled it. Like, in all of the games that he's had he's had a chance after chance to go past, like, what, they need 50 points, and look, we're still in the same position. Honestly, it's only because ASM and Almiron have bailed him out second half of the season, and he's changed the formation that we are where we are. Otherwise, for me, we're going down. I mean, I'm sorry to say, I was at Leicester away when we lost 5-0, and I was like, Bruce out, just get out. Honestly, ridiculous. I went mental.
I'm not willing to talk too much about expectations for next season, because it could all change very quickly. And our interpretations of where Newcastle are and our ambitions of the club can change very, very quickly. 4 weeks is a long time in football. A lot of things can change. So I'm not willing personally to look that far ahead yet. But certainly, if we've got
stop lying, man. You know you're itching to talk about it. You're itching. Pete is itching to talk about the T word. Come on.
I've already. You know my views on it. You know my views.
Hey, let me say it now, Pete and Clint. Yeah, if we don't get taken over, I'm not coming back to the streaming thing. I'm not doing it.
What do you look at the funny age there?
I'll be too depressed. Hey, we need this badly. We cannot go into next season with Mac Ashley. Hell no. I'm gonna cry. When they start linking us to low knees from Switzerland, then it's a wrap.
I think, do you know what? I think I nearly started crying when I watched Joe Linton on YouTube and they were like, "Oh, we're going to give him a chance for a second season." I thought, "Oh no, it's been bad enough.
Yeah.
It's been bad enough this season. Don't put me through a second season of torture with Joe Linton up front with one up front. Nah, don't do
How
it.
many goals
Please
did he
don't."
get in the league this season?
What's
Say
that?
that again.
How many goals did he get in the league this season?
2.
Exactly.
2.
Dude,
We haven't got a natural striker. Dwight Gill's got 3 goals, and then again, half the time he can't hit a barn door.
Yeah.
Two
And that's
goals.
the thing.
Andy Carroll, right, misses from 2 yards out.
He should have scored today. He should have scored that.
Easy.
That chance there. Is the type of chance that he thrives off. Actually, talking about Andy Carroll, that's the first time in the whole season, in that however 15, 20 minutes that he was on the pitch, that as a team we've actually played to his strengths. Those little diagonal balls, the balls that we were playing into the box, that's what he thrives on. That's the first time we've actually played to his strengths. And we gave him the opportunity to get his goal that he's been craving, and he missed it. And that just says everything about him. It says everything about the situation. And, you know, it says everything. You know, we can either finish 13th or 14th in the table. And that's about right. That's about right. You know what I mean? We finished 13th last season. We finished 13th or 14th this season. And that's exactly where we should be.
Keelan Watto, I think he should have had a game today. I don't know why he wasn't started. And then you look at Matty Longstaff. What you see him like barking out instructions to like Matt Ritchie and that, and on players on the pitch. Like, I wish I was coming on. Like, why is he not getting games? I think he's off me. There's no way that he's staying here. If he's not, there's no way.
You know what? Pete said it yesterday. He's just buying his time, man. He don't want to play for Bruce. He's thinking, why waste my time? Why get injured? I won't sign the contract. If we don't get taken over,
where's he going to go though? That's talking Udinese, but do you really think he's going to go there? I mean, there'll be other clubs sniffing around of Matty Longstaff. They see the potential of the lad, of what he can offer, some of the goals he can score, what he can do.
You look at Matty Longstaff. You're looking at a lot of young English talent now. You just got Bellingham that's just gone to Borussia Dortmund.
Exactly.
A lot of the young English players now are not afraid to go abroad. They're not afraid to go abroad because if they're given assurances that they're going to get football, they're going to get minutes and a chance to develop themselves, they're not afraid to go anymore. So I do think that he'll go to Udinese if the takeover doesn't happen. And I think, like as Fumbi said, we said it yesterday. And I personally think he's just buying his time. He's got nothing to fear.
Nothing.
If he goes to Udinese, he'll probably be playing week in, week out. If he doesn't, and he signs a deal with Newcastle, he's going to be under a completely new regime that are going to be massively ambitious, and he's going to be a part of that. So it's a win-win situation for him. Okay, he's leaving his boyhood club, but you know, as you see with Alan Shearer when he was younger, and Michael Carrick and 1 or 2 other players, it's not the be-all and end-all playing for Newcastle. Matty Longstaff's played for Newcastle. He scored goals for Newcastle. He's got that in his memory. Right, he'll never forget those moments. He's quite happy to leave at this point and go and try and develop his career elsewhere. And fair play to him. Fair play to him. Obviously, he'd like to stay, but look, if you've got an opportunity to develop your career elsewhere or play under Steve Bruce, I think we all know where we're going to end up going.
You're not like Bruce Loner football. What you say?
Hey,
What?
like Pete said yesterday, Mike Ashley said, he don't sign a contract, he don't play. Simple.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to lose ASM and Almiron very soon, but don't sort this situation out. If it's not this summer, he'll be gone very soon. I'm sorry to say, but that's why I never get excited when I see our best players on the pitch, and if they're doing well, I don't get excited when they score, because I've seen it all before. We play so well, or we get so far in the league, and he rips up the side. We don't replace them. What's the point?
Under this regime, we'd only get another year out of them. I don't think we'd sell them in January.
January.
Well, it would all depend on the situation. It would all depend on where we are as a club. If we're sitting in a pretty comfortable position and we can afford to get rid of them, knowing that we're in a solid position and we've got enough points behind us, then I wouldn't put it past Mike Ashley to do that. However, I think logically, I think it will probably get another season out of both of them, particularly under this regime, because I think they would only be able to stand another season under this regime, and then they'll want out. And then enough clubs will come calling. With hopefully COVID settled down in a year's time, money under the belts for a lot of other clubs. There'll be a lot more action in the transfer market.
By then, we're planning trips to Huddersfield next season. By the time that's finished.
Well, that's it. Under this regime, you can't think anything other than it's going to be a very, very difficult season. Like I say, I'm 100% confident that this takeover is going through. So I'm not willing to look that far ahead. But yes, if it doesn't,
40 live at Burton Albion again. That'll be something special again. Reunion at Burton.
Oh God!
I loved it, mate. I loved Burton Albion. I loved it. Right, I'm going to transition over to these guys. You know what I'm talking about.
I've already given my opinions on that on Footy here today, but
those are the first 3 letters of my name, fam.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Newcastle now.
Are you the reason? Are you the reason why we've had to sign this new deal?
Do you know what? When I saw it this morning, and I saw the comments about that means the takeover's off, I wanted to cry.
How can you cry when it's your business, bro? It's from being international, isn't it?
What does it actually mean, though? What does it mean? Like, does it mean?
It doesn't mean anything, Fumbi.
Okay.
It doesn't. It means absolutely nothing, right? As a legal requirement, we have to have a shirt sponsor. Obviously, the new owners are not in place to have their own sponsor. If it was up to them, they wouldn't have a betting company on the front of their shirts because Saudi Arabian because it's against their beliefs to have that.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't choose that anyway. So clearly, and from what I've read, it was already in an agreement in January. The deal was already done in January, but they've only waited until now to announce it. Now, there'll most likely be something in place that when the takeover happens, that they'll be able to renegotiate. The new owners will be able to negotiate with the sponsorship and either cancel the deal or arrange their own deal separately. So it doesn't make any difference. We have to have it legally. The takeover is not sorted out yet, so we have to continue to press ahead. The deal had already been done. That's why it's been announced.
Thing is,
nothing more, nothing less. The fact that they hadn't announced how many years that the deal was there for, and the fact that it was a partnership, a sponsorship partnership, not talking specifically about shirt sponsors, all of that can change. All of that, because it was all a grey area in their little press release. There's so many questions in there. It's all a grey area because it's open to change. And it's open to change because we know that the takeover can happen any second. It could happen today, tomorrow, next week, next month. And then when that happens, the new owners will be able to come in and put their own stamp on it. Now,
do you know what they might as well do? They might as well just got the top right and just got Sports Direct and plastered all over the blue shirt. They've already gone down the route of doing it around the stadium. I mean, if they're doing it short term or long term, whatever they've announced it as,
the
you've already
problem
done
with
enough
that
damage.
is that Mike Ashley's got to then put money into Newcastle as part of paying for that sponsorship.
About time.
At the moment, which the moment, I don't think he's got that kind of money to do. So that's probably why he's allowing someone else to bring that money in for the club instead of himself. So
I really do fear for us next season. I do, I honestly do. Not gonna lie, I'm not gonna bend over the bush. We're struggling.
Alright, guys, you know what this is? This is a list. This is Brucey's list.
I generally thought 40. They were your Brighton notes. I figured there wasn't much in the game.
Nah, this is.
I was going to say
there was nothing in the game.
If that's Bruce's list, you've got too many names on there, Clinton.
On top of the list, it's got El Mohammadi and Alex Bruce.
I'm sorry, but if we sign them two, I am actually going to Spoke Ted. I'm sorry.
He's done a short list. He got the sponsor. All he's got to do is get the lads back together, and that's it. All the ex-Man United people. That's it.
Add a third one to that, Mohamed Diame.
Oh yeah, he's probably getting back.
No, not him. Not him. Actually, to be fair, we could have done with Diarmid today for that goal he scored in the Championship back a couple of years ago. Could have done with that.
Yeah.
Anything for a goal today.
Anything. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, come on. We've got strikers who can't, head a ball from 2 yards. Dwight Gale, Andy Carroll. I mean, I've said to you before, we haven't got any forwards. We haven't. That are good enough.
I think Gale's done all right in recent games. He's had to deal with a lot of hardly any service. He's had to do a lot of running, a lot of pressing from the top. He did the same today, but we don't play to his strengths. We don't get enough balls into the box. We don't get enough balls into his feet. You can see how frustrated he was 10 minutes in that they're lumping balls up into the air for him to try and bring down when he's up against 6'3", 6'4" Dunk. You know
Basically, are we going down the Pardew route again? Look the ball up north for the best. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, that's pretty much how it's been. But he needs balls into the channel, and he needs balls to run onto. He needs
pace.
Pace. He's got the pace to, and he showed it once or twice in the first half. He's got the pace to run in behind and cause them problems, and he won a couple of free kicks off the back of that. But we didn't do it enough. So if you're not going to play to his strengths, then he's not going to look good in that game, and he didn't today. He was clearly frustrated, which is why he spent a lot of the game defending deep and then staying deep. He wasn't then going forward or making those runs because he weren't getting on the end of it. There were some frustrating performances today. Some very.
What about Mutu though? What has he got to do to get a game of football at Newcastle?
He's gone. He's
gone. No, I get that. I know he's not good enough, but when you're playing nothing games like this, and you've just got to he's talking about injuries and stuff, and how strikers aren't doing enough. But just put them in. There's no harm in doing so. Keil Watts for me should have had a game. I don't know why he wasn't starting. There was big talk of him starting. I mean, at one point they were saying let's play Andy Carroll at centre back. I mean, what? You know what I mean? It's just and then obviously Matty Longstaff, who I just mentioned before. These lads, honestly, I do fear for us next season. We're going to lose a lot of quality very fast.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Next season, I'm going to support Brentford. So
you're going to watch.
I'm going to support Brentford next season. So Pete, I'm going to leave you to run this. I'm going on loan to Brentford, and I'll come back.
From the sound of it, Brentford is still going to be in the Championship. They're in the bottle job as we saw on Saturday.
Will be a lot more entertaining than watching this pile of crap. So don't worry.
I've watched Brentford this season. I'm sorry to say I would pay to watch Brentford for a season over what I'm watching right now. What we're playing at the minute is woeful. I know, fair. Albeit it's the Championship. If they do come up, we'll see what they're made of. But to be fair, their academy is unreal. They're selling players to Chelsea and other clubs left, right, and centre. More pie to Brighton. Do you know what I mean? They're a good side. They're well equipped for the Premier League.
I'll run this, and then I'm going to go on loan to Brentford, and then I'll work it out at the end of the season. We'll have contract negotiations, and then we'll see if I come back.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I've already done a sort of a loan deal to Fumby, so Fumby's gonna take it on instead of me next season. I'm happy to come in and support, but I've already transferred it on to somebody else.
Oh no! Nobody wants to see stuck with this club. It's going to be Bruce Salona all next season with El Mohammadi and Alex Bruce and Joe.
Steve Bruce doesn't realise how much stick he's going to get next season. Every single game he's going to be scrutinised. Even if we win 1-0, he'll be scrutinised. Just every little detail, they say, Steve Bruce. For me, I'm surprised he's even lasted this full season. Let's be fair. I didn't think he was going to last this season, but he has. But next season is where you really judge him. But if he gets next season, as you're saying, Pete, you may not. I don't think he'll last more than 6 months. I keep saying it. More season, he'll not last 6 months.
No. The only reason he's in charge now is because financially it's viable for Mike Ashley. Just like he did with Alan Pardew, he got a manager that was out of his depth at the level that he was coming into, so Newcastle and playing and managing in the Premier League, and on a ridiculously cheap wage. So his wage is probably one of the worst in terms of managers in the Premier League. In fact, I think it is the worst. And Alan Pardew was exactly the same. This is what Mike Ashley does. So it's a win-win situation for him, because if Bruce does what he did this season and keeps him up, and they're banking that 125, 130 million, it's easy money. But equally, what you're saying is right. If 6 months down the line we're in a relegation battle and we're really, really struggling, it's easy to pay out his contract because he's going to be paying him out peanuts. And then he'll get a manager in like he did Rafa, someone more experienced that can try and get him out of the shit. So it's a classic Mike Ashley move. However, this takeover it's becoming even more clearer to me now as the days go on. This takeover happens. There is no way that he stays at this club. He'll be one of the first out the door. He'll go out the same time Lee Charnley goes out, because these new owners don't. I'm not fooled by this. These new owners are watching every move that Newcastle make at the moment. They're watching every move that Steve Bruce is making at the moment.
Hope they look at the Sky Sports stats.
Yeah, he's giving them no. Look, he in no way is giving them any sort of positive vibes that he's good enough to take this club forward. None whatsoever. Do
you know what it is, actually, it makes you laugh that he's still got the likes of ASM and he's managing Almiron. It's just like, like, how are you, like...
Exactly. And you got to think, new owners coming in and not going to keep with a manager that the fans don't want. The fans don't want them. They're going to want to keep the fans on side. Let's be honest. And to get the fans on side and to get the fans backing them and their movements and their ambitions, easy. Get rid of Charnley, get rid of Steve Bruce, and the fans will be very, very happy with that. And then whoever we get in to come and take the club forward. So it's very, very simple. When the takeover happens, he goes. If for whatever reason it doesn't, he stays. He'll probably last until January if he's lucky.
That's why I was saying before that I've got a good feeling he'll still be here next season. I hope not. Hope you're right. But I think if he is here next season, he gets 6 months for me. If he hasn't, if we're down the bottom, he has to go. I'm sorry to say, but I can't be going for every single season just mid-table crap. Albeit it is Mike Ashley. There's no manager can really change much because Rafa obviously got 2 mid-table finishes. That's all to do with the squad. It's nothing to do with Rafa. It's what he had to work with, and he asked for a bit of money, and we all know what happened there. He was shafted out because it's all about cheap managers. But I hope you're right. I honestly hope we do get this takeover. It's because we've needed this for a long time. It's not just been off this season. It's been off the past 13, even 15 years, even before Mike Ashley stepped in the door. Look at the managers that we've had. I mean, no disrespect to Glenn Roeder, but come on. You know what I mean? It's just, ever since Bobby Robson's left, we've stagnated big time. Yeah. The thing is, people don't realise it's not just that football moves on. There's so many clubs now competing. Sheffield United, there could be one-offs then, but Wolves are thereabouts. You've got Leicester. Who else is trying to break that patch now? We've got a few. You know, in West Ham, I know
Everton is spending a lot of money.
I know West Ham are not doing very well at the minute, but it just takes a couple of them to buy some decent players, and they're up there. Do you know what I mean? We're lagging behind big time.
West Ham are always up and down. Like they've had a crap season this season. Next season, for some reason, they'll probably have a stormer, and then the next season after that, they'll be back in relegation.
We are so predictable. We're so predictable every season. When you do your Premier predictions, you know we're finishing mid-table. We're so predictable.
But the thing about it is, a lot of our infrastructure in terms of the stadium, the fan base, the sort of the history of the club. There's a lot of players that we've been shit for 15 years, as you've said, but we've still attracted some good players and good players that have come and played at the club where they could have gone elsewhere. And they've still come to us because they still see us as a reputable club, one of the reputable clubs in the Premier League. So having that ambition and that backing by owners that actually want to take us somewhere, it wouldn't take as long as a Wolves or an Everton to get to that point because we've got a lot of the infrastructure there. We need a new training ground and new facilities. We've known that, for 15, 20 years now. But, a lot of the other stuff is there. We just need investment in the right players to build this squad and this club in the right direction. And I don't think it would take too long to do. They'd put 5 or 7 years on it for us to be challenging for the title. That is not long, considering we've had 13 to 15 years of absolute crap. We just need that. We need that green light. We need that confirmation that it's happening. And I think then every single Newcastle fan can just have a sigh of relief and just say, right, thank God that's all over. Let's crack on. And it will bring the fan base together. The fan base has been split for years. You see it on social media. Everyone's split. They're all, someone can't come out with an opinion before someone else is shooting it down and all the rest of it. And everyone's just against each other within the Newcastle fan base. This takeover and seeing the direction that we're going in is just going to bring everybody together, and we'll be in a great position. We won't have to think about this crap again, about worrying about getting to 40 points. That's the thing that I'm more excited about than anything else, is actually going into a season, looking at the fixtures, thinking, where are we going to get to 40 points? I'm sick and tired of it. Sick and tired of having crap managers coming into this club and just using us as an opportunity to revive their careers. Alan Pardew, Steve Bruce, Steve McLaren.
Don't get me started with Steve McLaren. Don't get me started.
Just absolute crap. We've dealt with so much shit over the years.
Don't mention Steve McLaren at 40, because that's what started you off on YouTube.
Yeah.
I just remember the first ever video I watched of you.
I remember that time we lost 3-0 to Bournemouth, and I just went home. I was so angry. I just had to rant. That was the just ranting on YouTube. So thank you, Steve McLaren. Thank you for that. Sylvia, you missed all the rants, but you probably can guess what it was all about there. We've gone from this result, and now we've gone on to takeovers, to previous managers, to bad ownership, to getting to 40 points. We're just trying to read the right out, basically. Just kind of let it all out.
40 question is, though, what about this so-called full house that everyone talks about for next season when we get back into games? What, 36,000 and fans start coming back in? 40,000 and fans came back in with the free tickets. If things don't change next season, I don't think there will be full houses again. Fans will not pay that extra bit to go and get the 10,000 extra fans in. It'll just keep going down. You can't. The thing is, fans are passionate here, but you can only be passionate for so long when you're stagnating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of our fans I can see are all turning to non-league. You see them all watching South Shields, Gateshead, Blythe, because they've got an ambition. Newcastle Blue Star, they're on the rise as well. I'm sorry to bring non-league up, but it's true facts. Grassroots football. There's nothing here for us. There's nothing here.
But I mean, what other fan base would have been as loyal as us? With the shit that we've seen over 13, 15 years. There's no other fan base that would still be selling out their away allocations week in, week out, that would still be selling out up to 30, 40, 50,000 seats in their home ground. You look at some of the top teams. Man City can't sell out their stadium in the best of times. Liverpool have only just started selling out their stadiums now in the last 2 or 3 years. Before that, anybody could get a ticket for Liverpool. Chelsea had been the same. You know what I mean? You go down the list. Arsenal, the amount of empty seats you see in Arsenal, right? And these are teams that have actually won things over the years. We've won nothing, and we've had to deal with absolute crap, and we're still selling out stadiums. I was there at that 5-0 at Leicester early on in the season, and from 55, 60 minutes, we did not stop seeing for the rest of the game. Yeah. We sang for those players who were absolutely shocking that day, and we backed those players. No other club in the Premier League, no other club in England would do that. Okay, maybe not England. There are other good, solid fan bases out there in the lower divisions, but no other fan base would do that in the top. What
about the Championship?
Of the Premier League.
What about the Championship? Do you know, I couldn't get to the Sheffield. Was it the Sheffield Wednesday game on Christmas? In the Championship, we're selling out games in the Championship under Mike Ashley. That's unheard of. Nobody sells out in the Championship. I'm sorry.
Now you think
I couldn't get the home games.
Now you think with the takeover, I remember back in 96 up until the early 2000s, I was on a 4-year waiting list to get a season ticket. A 4-year waiting list. That's how bad it was. That's how much in demand we were as a football club to get a season ticket at Newcastle. That is going to go with a takeover. It will go back to that. It will go back to you'll be struggling to get tickets for home games, let alone away games.
You'll get Leighton Orient in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah, exactly. And even then you'll struggle. You know what I mean? Because it won't go down to a certain amount of points. But that's the thing, that we still back the club no matter what. But it's got to the breaking point, as you said, where we've lost 10,000 home fans this season.
We're going to lose more.
And we'll probably lose another 5 to 7 after this, because they won't accept
fans are getting bored. Fans are getting bored. That's what I was saying. They're turning it non-league, because you think, why pay 600 quid for mid-table when you can pay a couple of $100 to watch Gateshead, and potentially they could get promoted.
There you go.
Yeah. And that's why I'm going on loan to Brentford anyway, man. No.
Exactly. I'm sorry to say, Brentford get promoted. A season ticket's going to cost, 300 quid for Brentford? Would you say?
Like,
Free?
all we need is that Arab money announcement, and everything will change.
Listen, bro.
Thank you, Kubi. Thank you.
I know
Thank
it's
you.
doom and gloom right now, but listen, the other thing is, let me tell you something, this is one thing I've learned being a Newcastle fan. I've learned to appreciate football. Because like you've all said, there is no reason why we should support this team. No reason. No reason. But I fall in love with the club and I can't let go. I'm going to ride it out. But next season, if we don't get that Arab announcement, I'm telling you, I'm going to Ashley's house and I'm switching. Because I can't do next season. I just want Bournemouth and Norwich go down. I don't want that for us. We've been relegated twice. And I know how I felt on both days. I can't.
If we go down for a third time, there's no way back. Honestly, they say third time lucky. We've been lucky twice. We've been lucky twice. If we go down for a third time, for how competitive the championship is, we got lucky under Rafa. It was quite a tougher season than the first one we had under Newton. We will not get back. I'm sorry to say. It doesn't matter how much we spend. We'll get found out, and we will. This time we'll struggle. It may take 2, 3, 4 seasons. We're going to struggle.
Rafa was the only reason why we got back up the second time.
Yeah, I agree.
Rafa brought together the fan base.
And we only just got up, by the way. Only just.
Yeah, and we did. And he allowed us to believe that we were able to come back up, and he galvanized the team. He got the right players at the right time to get us back up. Right. The first time round, we were lucky because we had a lot of good quality players that stayed at the club. Players that were too good for the championship. Kevin Nolan, Andy Carroll was in.
I couldn't believe we kept these players on. I don't know how this is.
Exactly. We had good experience with Lovenkrantz, who scored a lot of goals for us. We were lucky. We had the experience that took us back up to the Premier League. With this current crop of players, there's not many of them that would want to stay. And equally, there's not many of them you'd want to keep.
I like that comment.
So
I love that comment. You switch.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not put it out there.
Oh God.
I love it.
I'm gone.
The thing is,
so funny. Wait for his
the thing is so funny. If we go down, let's say we go down next season, hoping we don't. If we go into the championship with Steve Bruce, I've literally got no hope. We're literally mid-table championship, not even that.
If we're going down next season, we won't have Steve Bruce as manager.
No. But let's say Mike Ashley kept him on. I have no hope of this football club anymore. My hope's gone. Drained.
No way.
Done.
There's no way. If we start looking at relegation by December, they're not keeping Steve Bruce.
It'll be Joe Linton at the back. Joe Linton at the back. It'll be bloody Lascelles up front. That's how bad it'll be, man. Honestly,
he's the one player that would stay. That's the thing. That just typifies it all.
I am dreading a second season with Joe Linton. I'm dreading it.
Yeah,
absolutely dreading it.
Look, it tells you a lot. It tells you a lot that in recent weeks he's been on the bench and he's come. I'm baffled by the fact that he's even getting minutes. He's even coming on and contributing in any way. He's not contributing, but he's even coming on the pitch. But it tells you everything that Bruce is just sticking him on the bench. That says to me that Bruce has had enough of him. And I think it would be in everyone's best interest that they found a loan for him back in Germany. I think because it'll end up ruining his career staying in Newcastle because the fans won't back him. The fans are frustrated.
They don't even want him in Germany. They send him back to Brazil, bro. They don't want him in Germany.
Someone would take him in Germany. Someone would take him in Germany because actually because he's actually still highly sought after, and he's still.
Hoffenheim must have been laughing when they seen 40 million quid on offer. They must have been laughing.
Of course they were, but they still talk about him in a positive light. The Hoffenheim directors.
Positive light is because they bought him 40 million euros. Thank you.
Hoffenheim last summer must have been the most relieved club ever in the history of football.
40 million euros. Thank you.
Absolutely daft.
But I think that would be in everyone's best interest that he goes on loan. Forget the transfer fee. He needs to go on loan. And actually, with the takeover happening, and the new manager coming in, I think that's probably what would happen. I think they'd give him an opportunity to see what he's about for a few weeks, and then I think what they'll do is quickly realise that he's not up to scratch, and I think they're blowing him out. They'd say you need to go and find your football somewhere else.
Yo,
And
Fumby, I was just going to wonder if you were talking to Steve Bruce.
Let me just make one comment. Fumby's a typical Newcastle supporter because he's in and out of this stream like a Newcastle United.
I was just about to say, 40. I wonder if he's just been interviewing Steve Bruce.
I've been
like Newcastle come in and out of the Championship, bro.
I've been the takeover updates. But listening to what Danny Mills had to say.
Oh no!
Do you actually listen to Danny Mills?
Oh
no!
He's the one person you don't listen to. He chats.
I don't listen to a word that comes out of his mouth.
It's just you want to hear something, innit? So you click on the clickbait and you're just like, nobody has a clue what's going on.
Nobody does. That's the thing. Nobody does. Unless Richard Masters comes out and says something, nobody knows anything.
Why do you think there's so much negativity with some of the local journals and some of the national journals that normally report on Newcastle, like your Luke Edwards and your other journal or the national journals? Why do you think they're talking so negatively about Newcastle and about the takeover deal? The reason is because they've got no ins. Their sources that they were using don't know anything. So we're
an easy touch because we believe anything.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
They're going off information that's not true because, in actual fact, nobody knows. Nobody knows what's going on apart from the buyers, the sellers, and the Premier League. They're the only ones. And actually, for the first time in any of the takeover speculations that have happened over the last 13 years, the actual buyers are staying absolutely radio silent. They've done everything by the book. They've not put a foot wrong in terms of what they've done. The PIF, Staveley and the Reuben brothers, they've just kept quiet and just gone about their business. They've answered the questions. They've given their plans and their ambitions. They've done everything they needed to do. That side of the takeover is done. The owners and directors test was done ages ago. They've answered all the questions.
We need to get answers very soon, though. We'll get to it next week, hopefully. Or the week after, or the week after that, or the week after that, or even the month after that. I mean, it's...
Well, whenever it happens, it happens.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
The thing that they're doing right now is the piracy and getting those last little bits sorted. That's what they'll be doing right now. Whether it's something they can get done remains to be seen. Nobody knows. I'm more than confident that it is going to get done because you don't go on for 3, 4, 5 months if you're not planning on passing this takeover. If you're not going to pass it, you fail it, and it would have been done a long time ago. They've had so many opportunities. They've had so many opportunities to fail this with the human rights, with the piracy, with all the other stuff that's come out, with the WTO report. They've had so many opportunities, and they haven't. Why? Because they're trying to work through to make sure this happens.
Yeah, but Pete, why wasn't Mike Ashley vetted like this?
Because the owners and directors test at that point in time was there was one in place, but it was pretty much non-existent. It's the same. It was exactly the same with Sheikh Mansour when he took over. But the owners and directors test was changed through other bad owners coming in, and most of them were in the lower leagues, Championship and below. They changed it as the years went on.
Sunderland.
But when Sunderland as well. But when Mike Ashley came through, there was effectively hardly anything of an owners and directors test. Have you got the money to buy the club? Yes. Okay, good enough. There you go. He didn't even do his due diligence. He found out there was like what was it, 40 million hole in the club when he'd already bought it. If he'd have done his due diligence, he'd have found that there before he'd even bought the club. So he just rushed the deal through. Sheikh Mansour had to go through minimal stuff because the previous owner of Man City had so much financial problems and had his assets stripped that it was just an easy deal. But he had the money. There you go. You can have the club. It was as simple as that. Now, with all the other stuff, all the other bad owners over the years, they've tightened the owners and directors test a little bit more. Still not enough, but they've tightened it a little bit more. But it's the piracy stuff that's causing this problem. That's what it is. The owners and directors test, they are Staveley, Reuben Brothers, PIF. They've passed it. They've answered all the questions. There's nothing that stops them from being owners of Newcastle United. But with the Saudi Arabia and the Qatar war and all the issues that are going on there, that's what's stopping this deal going through. We're just caught in the middle. As a club, we are caught in the middle.
We need a break. We deserve it, man.
Of course we do. Of
Do
course
you know what it is? We need this Liverpool game to end so we get answers. I've been waiting for this for Sunday for so long now. Like, after Sunday, there's no excuse that the Premier League or Newcastle United don't come out and say something, because, as you said there, Pete, it's been like 4 months nearly, and that's just ridiculous. You can't go on like this, unfortunately.
It's crazy.
We need answers.
It's absolutely crazy. You cannot. The transfer window opens on the 27th. You cannot leave a club still in limbo on the 27th of July and not be able to potentially sign players, because Mike Ashley's not going to put his money in his pocket with the takeover still pending. So you're leaving a club in limbo, not knowing where it's going, not knowing what direction it's going, with an already condensed build-up to the new season, without giving an answer on new owners. It doesn't make any sense. There has to be this week, and next week, there has to be some questions answered, and the fans need to be told, and the club need to be told what's happening. Otherwise, the Premier League are actively screwing us over, and that will not the first time. Yeah, and it won't be the first time, but they will be actively acting in a way that's detrimental to our club. We will not be able to prepare for this new season in the way that the other 19 clubs in the Premier League will be able to prepare, and that's not fair. We don't deserve that. We've been patient for nearly 6 months, going back 13 years for a takeover deal to happen. This needs to go through.
Right.
And if it doesn't, we're not good.
We'll end it there.
Yeah.
We'll end it there because we could go on forever. That bullshit. We'll erase that. Just imagine I'm Will Smith and I've got that little clinky thing. Click. And we'll forget about this whole Brighton Newcastle affair, whatever you want to call it. We'll move on to Liverpool. Get thumped up by then we'll get taken over. We'll buy Kai Havertz just before he goes to Chelsea to please him be, and we'll live happy forever after. That's it. Good night, everyone.
See you later, buddy.
Have a good time. See you later, guys.
See you later, boys.
Take it easy.
See you later.